I think a good question to start off with is just how long have you been a member of the community as a whole? Like, when do you think you really started getting into it?
I mean, I was never interacting with the community until I saw Kenya dance. I knew of the community for a long time. I mean, I watched Wang for so many years and that sort of stuff, but I never engaged with it. And so, I mean, I'd say, God, when was that? December? I can't even count the months. 8 months now. Yeah.
So I think you brought up Kenya dance, and so I think that's probably a good sort of starting off point because I think that's kind of what a lot of people have come to associate you with is the fact that you were the solver of Kenya dance, and so like, does that bother you, or how does that feel for you?
Oh, I mean, it's quite a natural response for people to have. I mean, that's what I'm well known for. I think at this point, the active people in the community more see me as the Your Eyes guy rather than the Kenya dance guy. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I guess that's how most people know about me.
I know you as the Your Eyes guy because that was one of the first videos I did for my channel. That song that's just such a headache.
Yeah, no, God, we're in a very interesting space with that song. Like, none of us really know what to do anymore. We've banged our head against a brick wall for years and years, and my God, it's a handful. I mean, that video was really good at explaining a lot of things. God, I'm having an aneurysm thinking about it right now.
No, even when I was just like looking at all this sheer number of Chinese websites that existed and no longer exist, and I'm just like, it's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
It's a very convoluted search, and that's why I made the document, which is a bit out of date now, to try how put all the information in one place. But then the moment that I started making it, I realized how overwhelming it must be to look at this document and not know where to start.
I have ADHD, so I bounce all over the place with Lostwave songs. But I think if I were to say I have a primary focus right now, it's tension rising in the air, and that song is like one of the songs where I'm like, okay, I'm going to, I was like, I'm just going to document every one of the samples that this uploader, Blue Rain, who uploaded the original sample to what's that song. I'm like, okay, they had 54-ish solved samples. I'm just going to create a spreadsheet, and I was like, this is not, there's no pattern.
The same with Your Eyes, like, trying to find Your Eyes through the other songs that were on that compilation mixtape thingy is like impossible. It's such a weirdly unique song.
You've kind of maybe mentioned before, like sometimes people will call it like the Kenya dance strategy, but sometimes people will call it the damn Peggy strategy, and sort of wondering how that resonates with you.
I think it's quite funny because that was a strategy that MB Duckman mentioned in his video on like things that he had tried to do to find Kenya dance. So like I sort of took inspiration from that and modified it, but it's just search modifiers. Like, it's not really a peggy strategy or whatever. It's just using the website. But I mean, yeah, I'm flattered. But I do think it has lots of potential though, and I've seen some other solves that were solved with that method. I find it just a bit interesting that it'd be associated with me when it's just a function of the site.
Now that time has gone on, like you said, you're getting involved with other searches, and so I think now, I mean, especially if you're a member of the community like me, or like anyone on FMM, I think if they are, if they're not relatively new to the server, they know you, and they know you as more than just the person that searched for Kenya dance by using some search modifiers. And I would say that most people should be. If they're not, then this is me telling you, Peggy is a lot more than using Google search modifiers.
Yeah, no, I think I've proved that I'm somewhat capable of searching through other means with other searches. But I mean, I don't blame people, and yeah, I do get DMs from people like genuinely asking like, did you know the song before the bounty was posted? Because I found the song the same day of the bounty, and that was made some people suspicious. And lots of angry people saying, oh, you only found it through luck. And yeah, I mean, it's partially true. I did get very lucky, but I mean, no one else found it before. So
well, because I was thinking about that too. It's like there are some Lostwave songs where it just feels like incredibly lucky, like La Canción de Alicia. I feel like we would have never found that in a million years had it not been for somebody's friend coincidentally knowing this super obscure band like that. Or like, Damn Munich, which
Damn Munich, this is about to say
8 hours because somebody saw it on Q's upload and was like, this sounds like something my parents would have sang, and it's just like that one still blows my mind. You could attribute probably any Lostwave solve to luck. I think it's just a question of like, okay, how much work was put into it like before this solve happened? Like Cancion, like there was the whole Richard Vox stuff. I mean, there was years worth of stuff before that song was solved, and so was it lucky? Yes, but also I think we shouldn't discount the work that came before it.
Lots of people spend lots of time and lots of heartache. Shout out all the real searchers out there. But this is also why I'm quite happy that Lostwave's getting big, because artists recognize that, this lost song is actually mine, and people recognizing stuff. So lots of people don't like that Lostwave's getting big, but I find it quite nice that souls are more common these days.
I mean, I know that there's a little bit of a double-edged sword. There's especially some people that are like, when you talk about Lostwave songs ending up on TikTok. But I think in general, like growing the number of people that have awareness of Lostwave is only going to end up helping us. In the long run, you're gonna get more people like Chocolate Cream whose parents wrote Damn Munich. And so I think it's in my opinion, I think it's mostly beneficial that our community is going to continue to grow.
Yeah, and I see lots of people complain, these songs are getting viral on TikTok, and all these people don't know about the Lostwave and whatever. But I think that's sort of like the point of Lostwave, right? We're trying to find these songs so the artists can get the recognition for their hard work and monetarily benefit from their songs. So if we find the song and it goes viral on TikTok, isn't that a win for us and them?
And for these artists as well. I mean, I don't think I've come across a Lostwave artist yet, once their song has been identified, that hasn't been happy that A, their song is getting attention that it never got, and that B, they can put these songs on services like Spotify, so now they'll infinitely be Shazamable. But B, even though they're not going to make that much, they will get some amount of revenue from Spotify. And so at the end it's kind of like, okay, it's giving them attention that they didn't get, that they probably maybe should have gotten, and also it's introducing people to music that they would have never otherwise been familiar with. So I think for me at least, Lostwave has expanded my musical awareness, and I'm wondering if that's true for you as well.
People are very surprised to find out that I only listen to classical music. I'm a classical pianist and composer, so for like maybe the past 4 years I just haven't listened to any new music, which surprises a lot of people because my name is Dan Peggy. It's a JPEG Mafia reference. And, people are like, have you heard the new Peggy track? And I'm like, actually, no, I haven't. But I find so many good songs through my searches. And as you said, music that I wouldn't normally listen to, like Swahili dance. I listen to so much Kenyan and Kalenjin music, and I would never dig through that, but I swear I dig through like every single song that was available online. I'm also quite happy that this causes the artists to re-release their music. I think Iris, the creators of Wit and Wendy, just re-released one of their albums, and it's really good to see that these bands that got dissolved like years and years ago are finally coming back together and sharing their stuff again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know that was true of Jon Snow, that they had broken up, 10 years ago, and, hadn't really been interacting with one another until we found their song, and then all of a sudden they're getting back together, and they re-released Brighter Days, aka Back to Bed, on streaming, and now they're also, remastering their earlier stuff and re-releasing that. I know Christopher Booth, just entirely remastered and re-recorded. Everyone knows that. Buzz Druzetta of Wave Station, he was kind enough to send me a song that he and his brother had, recorded for a second album that never came into fruition.
Lostwave is great. music is great and connects people, but I think Lostwave really highlights that. I mean, the community that's made through the search, and it's educational. You know, you dig through stuff that you wouldn't beforehand, and
Yeah.
search methods, and I think it's just a really great community that's uplifts artists that wouldn't get the recognition that they normally get. And yeah, no, everything about Lostwave is great. I love it so much.
On that note, I'm sort of curious if you have other favorite songs, you know, outside of you know, Your Eyes and outside of Kenya Dance. Are there songs that you enjoy, either solved or unsolved?
I mean, I love Swahili Dance. Swahili Dance is such a fun, bouncy song. I go back to that song quite often. I'm not too educated on all the big popular Lostwaves. As I said, I mean, I only listen to classical music, but I mean, there are some good stuff. I mean, like, How Long Will It Take is a banger. But I mean, like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm the guy that listens to all the Lostwaves and I know all the channels. And I forgot the name of that channel, Years Back or something like that. That one's a banger. It's crazy. I go to, like, I just click on random channels on From My Mind sometimes, and then I just see you there and you're like actively searching for like a song on like a dead channel. It's like, oh, okay. You're everywhere.
That tends to be like how my mind will work. Like, I can hyper focus on something. Like, I actually feel like I was super hyper focused on World Was So Easy. Like, that was probably the song that really brought me into the community, and that was such a new, you know, one of the more unique searches, because the OP was not only active but was active on server. It's like, you know, like, I had found this Canadian band called the Desert Dolphins that had one record that had been a hit in the early 90s, and but I couldn't find anything about them. And he was like, oh yeah, I actually found this newspaper clipping and reached out and already reached out. I also can be like, okay, I'm going to focus on something for, you know, a little bit of time, and then I'm going to run out of ideas, and then because I'm running out of ideas, I need to go and see if there's something else where I can, you know, try something that hasn't been done before. That's probably why you see me on so many channels, is because I'm getting distracted is what I'm doing. I'm saying, okay, I've exerted my brain power looking for one song, so I'm going to try to exert my brain power looking for a different one.
Yeah, I mean, I hyper focus as well, but I mean, I guess somewhat of a perfectionist. When I do something, I have to do it 100%. So when I'm searching for Your Eyes, I'm searching for Your Eyes and only Your Eyes. It's so crazy. Like, I remember Sable was like, I'm searching for Your Eyes. And it's like, I'll look into that. I'll come and help you. I was expecting something like light, normal, and easy. I didn't know that this was like, I mean, in my opinion, Your Eyes is like the hardest Lostwave to search for, like, by far. And then I started looking for it, and I got so hooked. And like, just keep on going and going and going. There's so much to dig for there, and yeah, I'm just addicted to Your Eyes searching at this point. But at this point, I'm so lost. I don't know what to do.
But like, for Your Eyes, it feels like we've tried so much and have gotten relatively nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've contacted so many DJs and people in Italo dance, and I'd say 80% of them all knew Your Eyes. Like, oh yeah, we know about the song, we know about the search. We had no idea. Like, everyone in, like, if you're a big fan of Italo dance, you know the song, and just no one knows what's up with it. And like, every day, like, I see people saying like, Your Eyes solved, like, coming soon, like next week it's gonna happen. But like, when you look at it, we really don't know anything about the song. Like, I mean, we know people who might know about the song, like the people who made the compilation or FM120, but they might have no idea. I mean, FM120 might have gotten lucky and gotten an early download of the song. That might be why he has like a higher quality version, but he might just know as much as us about the song. And I assume the people who made the compilation in China, I mean, this is like more than 20 years ago, like, they will have forgotten. They don't know what song it is. So, like, where do we look for this? Like, China is probably a dead end. And, I mean, people have already looked in Italy and contacted Italian DJs, and everyone says that the song is very unusual. And, yeah, it's a headache. Honestly, I think our best bet is to make the search very public and raise awareness, and then eventually the artists themselves will find it. I think the artists themselves will be the solver of this, because, I mean, if you're aware, all these Chinese sites, like, every week a major site just goes down. I mean, there used to be so many of these sites, but now they're losing popularity with like mainstream streaming services. That's a mouthful. So yeah, they're dropping like flies, and in 10 years, I don't think there'll be much websites to even start looking for the song anymore.
I mean, I know that, there's been so many songs that I've looked for where I've like, run across these like old music blogs that haven't been updated in like, 6 or 7 years. And it kind of does, create this sense of like, it's a little bit too bad that these sorts of, blogs that, document kind of weird or obscure music have kind of petered out because of social media. So you said that right now Your Eyes is just kind of the only song you're searching for, or would you say there are any other songs at the moment that are songs you're involved in the search with?
Honestly, just Your Eyes only. Sometimes people are like, especially with like NY80s, there might be like a small snippet of like something classical and people ask me about it and I help. But yeah, no, only Your Eyes, because I'm a type of person that when I start something, I have to finish it, and I become very focused on one singular thing. It's probably not a good habit, especially with Your Eyes. I wish I like hyper-focused on something a lot easier, because I'm sure with the amount of effort that I put in Your Eyes, I could have had like 3 channel solves at this point.
No, I mean, there's no right or wrong approach to these. Like I know that there are some people that I only ever see in like one channel, and I'm just like, okay, sure, more power to you. You like what you like, and like nobody, there's not one right approach to Lostwave, and so I think at the end of the day, it's nice to see that there's some level of involvement in trying to create progress, even if progress is not actually happening.
I've been busy recently, so it's petered out, but I'm definitely keen to come back and bring back a revival, because when I started raising a lot of awareness and interest in Your Eyes, it caused a lot of interest, and it was great to see that it's possible to revive such a stagnant search.
I think Your Eyes is actually, I'm going to say this and you can tell me I'm wrong, I do think it can be found. I don't think it's lost forever. I think it's just a question of when.
I definitely don't think it's lost forever. It was made in 2003. I mean, like, if something goes on the internet, it's there forever, basically, especially with this song, because like if you've like looked at Your Eyes for 2 seconds, you can see like how many re-uploads of this. It was copied and pasted so many times over the internet. Like, it's definitely not going to be lost. Like, I'm very certain that Your Eyes is on the internet with its real like author and song name. Like, it will be out there, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to find it, because it's going to be somewhere sneaky and hiding. So
yeah,
I mean, the solve is possible. It's just we have to work quite hard for it. But there are some songs that I know, like There's No More Vinyls, completely lost and like impossible to solve.
Well, the songs that come to my mind like are Light the Lanterns and and oddly enough, Curly Toes. At least Light the Lanterns is I'm going to say a good song. I don't think it's controversial opinion to say Curly Toes is not good.
What do you mean? Come on, don't diss Curly Toes like that. But there are lots of songs with very weird circumstances, like Cat's Meow. We know, but we just can't verify unless someone wants to shell a couple $100 just to listen and say, oh yes, it's the thing, without like being able to prove it. Like, but I don't think Your Eyes is one of those songs where it has like a weird circumstances around it. I mean, it'll be out there. Yeah,
I'm sort of curious. When we do find it, do you have an idea of what song you'll want to go to next, or is it going to be a matter of you'll get there when that happens?
I can't really say, because I don't know when Your Eyes will be solved. It might be like next week, it might be 5 years, and searches come and go and the interest dwindles. And definitely when I solve Your Eyes, I want to do a search that's a lot more easier and plausible. But I also want to focus on a search that's not as popular and bring more attention to some of the lesser known searches. I'm quite sad that people don't really pay attention to groups channels or group songs, and there's sort of like a hierarchy of Lostwave, like what's that song post, a group channel, like main channel, and I think that's quite like bullshit, to be honest. Like, it's all music and it's all good music. I don't think you should determine the value of a Lostwave by how popular it is. It's just whether you like the song or not. And I mean, if you see people on those channel songs and they're searching on there, you know that they're a real Lostwave searcher.
I mean, I've solved I solved one or two of the VHF production songs. Those songs, I actually only got involved with them because someone was like, knew that I had access to this British register, like basically the equivalent of like ASCAP here in America.
But I also think that group songs are a good way to start learning how to solve Lostwave, because with main searches there's so much documentation and you already have a place to start. But with these group channels, normally it's just only you working on them, and you have to start from scratch and you have to make a plan, like, okay, where would this song be found, like what genre is it, okay, where can I go find these. I think to the people watching this, if you're interested in getting starting out in Lostwave, I actually, funnily enough, recommend start looking at group channel songs. Bring more attention to it and learn how to solve Lostwave from scratch, I guess. It'll be a lot harder, but it'll be a lot more rewarding too. I
agree, like 100%. And I think like New York 80s channel, like that's relatively new. Like I'm excited about that one too, because that one's been in my kind of back of my head for a while, and so now I'm kind of starting to look at that. And I would go back to what you were saying about smaller songs, because like, and this is now me speaking from my experience, I felt weird because like the first two Lostwave songs I solved, one was this song from this cheesy 80s horror movie called Freak Show that no one knew who wrote it, and the other was from a song from an NVIDIA tech demo. And both of them were like, they didn't have channels. They were like, they didn't even group channels. They had threads, so they were kind of like, very sort of minor. And I sort of was like, no one's going to care that I solved these. But then like I was able to see, like, when I posted this to Reddit and posted on server, like that there actually were people that cared, and the artists in both those cases were more than happy to like tell me about how they recorded the songs, and they were really cool about it. And so like now, like looking back, for me, I was like, I'm like, there are no small songs. Like solving a song, be a song from a cheesy 80s horror movie, or be Your Eyes, or whatever else, if you're solving songs, you're giving artists attention that didn't get it, that should have gotten it, and you're helping now ensure that these mysteries are a lot of this is kind of like when I tell my family what I'm doing, I'm like, it's about music preservation.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like, from what's that song to a main channel, I mean, music is music. It's fine. I find it so weird that people discriminate between the two, and these artists really appreciate when they find out that people are interested in their music regardless of whether it's a main channel or a group song. If they don't know about this, they're just like, wow, someone spent the time and spent hours and hours looking for something that I made 20 years ago. Like, yeah, no, it's quite life-changing. I urge the people watching this to start searching, because lots of people don't know where to start searching or how to. And, like, I mean, the community is quite big, but what a lot of people don't realize is, I think there's probably, in reality, only 30 people in the community who are actually actively searching, despite, like, the thousands of people that are here. I think people have, like, a idea that searching is something hard to do, or whatever. I mean, before I solved Kenya Dance, like, I had nothing, like, no idea about how to search for a Lostwave. I mean, I think that's the reason why people didn't find Kenya Dance, is because they thought, it won't be on YouTube, that's too obvious, or whatever. Like, and I guess me being naive to Lostwave and searching for it on YouTube is how it was solved, and then as it turned, people started looking on YouTube and found other things. Like,
yeah.
Like, there's no right way to search for Lostwave, and everyone has their own different, unique approach to searching. So I think, everyone can contribute. So join in.
I think that's a great attitude to take. Edge of a Dream is one of those songs where, like, when I solved it, it had been in the ASCAP BMI database, and we had just not found it for whatever reason. And people were like, how did we not think to look this up in the ASCAP BMI database? And it just had something that had been, missed. And so, like, you know, like, I would think this is the chance for both of us to be like, you that are watching this, it's like, I don't know how to begin to search. It's not hard to learn, and once you learn it, you can make a difference.
Yeah, and everyone has their own unique interests. I mean, like, I'm into classical music, so, like, I have an advantage searching for things like that. Or for your eyes, you know, I have lots of Chinese friends who have access to websites that we don't because we're not in mainland China, because of firewalls and stuff. I mean, everyone, like, it's hard to explain because I'm not you, but, like, you have your own unique, like, interests and abilities that may not be obvious to you when it comes to searching. So you just have to start to find out.
I have to ask you about your, I think you call that the damn Peggy flag, but I'm like, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, what actually is that?
It's Vision of a Young Man by Sarah Charlesworth. It's not a painting, it's digital art, I guess, or something like that. It's from the 90s. I mean, it's not digital art. I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, I'm into photography. But yeah, I do have a physical flag of it. But yeah, I guess it's become synonymous with me.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
For the people that asked me, yes, I did get the Bounty for Kenya dance. Thank you so much, Envy Duckman. Shout out Sveta, Saver, Diffie Joe, Brittany. Shout out For My Mind. Yeah, I mean, I knew Saver. We actually met. Sorry, I'm going to tell a funny story. When I solved Kenya dance, everyone was like, you should do Swahili dance because it's similar. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So I joined like a server, so just Kenyan people, just like a normal server. And I was like asking around about Swahili dance. And like a few moments later, Saber joined and was like, oh, I'm searching for this song too. So we met outside of Lostwave, searching for Lostwave. And we became friends ever since. And yeah, I mean, I invited him to For My Mind, and we sort of started together.
When I was looking for World Was So Easy, I found like two YouTubers that are like Canadian TV and video archivists, and one of them had a Discord server, and so I went on the Discord server, and someone else was like, "Oh, hey, I know you from FM."
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I was once in a Kenyan server, and I was looking for Swahili dance, and they were like, oh, it's like the, you know, that Filthy Frank Kenya song. And I was like, yeah, I solved it, haha. And they're like, oh, haha. And the next day they were like, wait, it really is you. Some random, like, Kenyan dude, like, absolutely no relation to Lostwave recognized me. It's quite weird to be recognized outside of Lostwave. It's like, oh, okay.
Is there a song that I'm going to become known for? I think maybe just a game, but that comes that remains to be seen, I suppose.
I mean, I hope that you get known for all your other work, because you do so much work on so much Lostwave. I mean, it's sort of like Saber. I mean, Saber has like what 12, 13 souls now. I mean, like. Yeah, he's not really known for one thing, just sort of being a juggernaut of Lostwave, and I assume you're becoming the same too.
Thank you. I would certainly hope so. You know, it's not my goal to become a juggernaut of Lostwave, but it's my juggernaut to help advance the searches for as many of these songs as I feel like I'm capable. Now we have some proof that you're not Defy Joe. Although, you know, I don't know. I know that he, you know, I don't know that I've met Defy Joe, so on second thought, maybe not.
How do you know? I'm just using a voice changer. I'm actually Diffie. Yeah, Defy. Sorry, I can't say his name properly. I've been reading it Diffie the whole time.
Do you have many people surprised when they hear your voice and realize that you're a Kiwi?
It's quite odd to me because, like, here in New Zealand, we get so much American content and British content on TV and news, and we also obviously hear lots of Australian accents because they're right by, and it's very multicultural. So I'm so exposed to all these accents that, like, I forget that I have an accent. So when people hear me, they think, like, what is this guy on? Like, sometimes I go overseas and people can't understand me, and it's like, oh.
Well, it's weird for me too, because like I recently learned that there is such a thing as the California accent, and so like there are some words that we pronounce like mountain and Costco, where we drop the T.
I'm worried that we're going. No, I'm worried that I'm going like over time or whatever. No, but I'm more than keen to continue talking. I'm not busy at all.
I feel like I need to sometimes remind myself I can't be entirely beholden to the YouTube algorithm. Well, otherwise,
honestly, screw that algorithm.
Videos would be about big searches, you know, and I intentionally try to toss in like an occasional small search. Like, you know, like right now I'm doing a video about Beer Song, although Beer Song is kind of, it's big, but it's also not big. It's got, you know,
it's unfinest big.
But then, you know, like I am doing Tension Rising, but then like after Tension Rising, I'm going to like do, I think, Erosion, which is I think one of the probably lesser known ones, because I know that like after that I'm going to do, you know, probably like CIA, right? So like I'm like, I can't just do big song, big song, big song, big song. The goal of my videos is to hopefully, like, you know, tell people the stories of the songs that aren't just the most mysterious song. I think, you know, like, that song has been covered to death, and that was true of Everyone Knows That as well. Like, both of those songs got so much attention that I actually said to myself, like, I'm not intentionally not going to cover these songs. It's important to me that I not just do all big songs, that I try to find some interesting smaller ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to you about this before. I mean, I think what's so great about your channel is, I mean, you do something fresh and new every single time, and it's not like with like those channels. There's so many Lostwave channels that are like top 10 most creepy Lostwave, like top 10 mysterious songs that you don't know about, and it's like the same thing over and over and over, and it's like, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's what the algorithm wants, but I don't think it's what the people really want at heart. I mean, like, they click on it, watch it for 2 seconds, and it's not interesting. It doesn't hold interest. It's not informative. It doesn't, like, help the community. It's just, like, things to turn your brain off to.
Yeah, again, going kind of on a complete tangent here, but, like, one of my favorite YouTubers is a YouTuber named Lemino. And Lemino, like, does...
I love him.
Yeah, okay. Like, so, but, like, what people don't know is that, like, or some people don't know, some people do, but like a lot of people don't know that before he, you know, became known for doing these like really great like long form YouTube videos, before any of that, like he was actually doing those top 10 videos. For years he was just like a top 10 YouTuber, and then he decided to change what he was doing and exploded when he stopped doing top 10 content. And I know that's probably like an exception. You know, I think, you know, you're right, there are more of those like top 10 channels, and like, you know, a lot of like lost media channels exist, but I didn't really see like, you know, lost wave channels that weren't just kind of like that sort of generic, like, here are 5 songs and it's like the most mysterious song, everyone knows that, Tension Rising. You know, it's gonna be like the 5 biggest songs that, you know, are like, okay, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, those channels are like, not to be rude, but like quite forgettable. I mean, like, you and Max, and it's like people who break out of the mold of those top 10s, and like Max does streams, they're great.
It doesn't matter to me if I'm not making if I'm not, you know, gaining a ton of subscribers, if I'm not, you know, getting a huge audience, as long as I, you know, feel like I'm happy with what I'm putting out there and people are enjoying it, then that's what matters.
None of us do this for like attention or fame or money or whatever. I mean, it's a passion, and like if you put out high quality content, and maybe even if you educate 5 people like really well, like for example, like MB Duckman, like his channel was like a lot smaller, I guess, at the time when he posted that video about Kenya dance and did the bounty, and that's how I found it. I mean, like, even if you make a video and like 5 people get interested in the search and go and solve it, I mean, I guess that's like quality content, right?
Exactly, and that's I think the goal is to, you know, to get people interested and hopefully grow the community. So I think that's probably a good point to wrap this up.
No, but I really enjoyed this video.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me your time.
And thank you very much for having me.
All right, talk to you soon.
Talk soon.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.